So to me, Kendrick Lamar's Good Kid, M.A.A.d City is one of the best hip hop albums of all time. It's in my personal top five, and I know it's up there for you too. And it's interesting because this is probably the first time we're actually speaking about this masterpiece on this podcast.
It's crazy because we don't really review old albums or go back and see it, but it's something that we're going to bring to the channel because it's cool to go back and talk about what's the best song, what's the best production. But guys, let us know in the comment section what is your favorite song from GKMC, and that's basically what we're going to be answering here is what is the best song, because this album has had a lot of time to age. I mean, it's almost nearing a decade since it's been out, and you could see the type of influence and longevity that it's had over the years. I mean, it's a fan favorite. It's, if you're a hip hop fan and you haven't heard GKMC, you should stop listening to the genre as a whole, in my opinion. So what makes this album so special for you, before we actually dive into standout tracks?
To me, I mean, it's just the way that Kendrick told this super tight narrative about, his upbringing in Compton, and the whole ideology of him having to make a decision between being a product of his environment and kind of sticking with that kind of gang lifestyle that was introduced to him at an early age, or following his dreams and kind of surpassing that and doing more with his life and kind of trying to find comfort in God.
That is true.
That's kind of how I interpret it.
That is a massive narrative, is finding yourself through God and finding yourself through a higher power, because if you look at the types of themes that were on Section 80, you look at songs like maybe High Power, for instance, Kendrick was always aware of these sort of things, and that was something that he always communicated throughout all of his music. Regardless of the song, there was probably some sort of reference or biblical reference, which I really enjoy. And one thing is that he was able to put this into the perspective of a young boy living in Compton and going through the trials and tribulations of being an adolescent in those times, and either choosing, do I take a certain path or do I take another path? And you could see that in every single track on this track list, there's always that conflict in motion. There's like, what do I choose? Do I choose something where my emotions and all of these events that are transpiring are in my control, or do I give in and maybe see the consequences later on down the line? So that's what makes this track list so intriguing to me as well.
Yeah, so we're gonna get to our best song, on the album. But before we get to that, let's talk about some standouts, because honestly, the whole album is low-key, has standout tracks all throughout, because the track list is just so damn consistent. But one that always stuck out to me was Bitch Don't Kill My Vibe. And I just love the backstory of this song and the fact of how Lady Gaga was supposed to originally do the chorus. And if you go on YouTube, you could actually find her vocals for the song, but something didn't work out with their scheduling, and Kendrick had to do the hook himself. And to this day, to me, it's one of his best hooks. And not only that, but it's also just one of his most timeless songs. And apparently, I saw this somewhere, and you could probably confirm it for me, but on his Damn tour, for every single show, he would perform this song.
Yeah, I saw that live. I did see the song live, and it's incredible. His live performances, especially with this song, are really breathtaking. And I'll save it for another podcast. But I mean, the way that he's able to come onto this track, and the whole, at least what I interpret, "Bitch Don't Kill My Vibe" is the way that he's able to control energies in his life, and the way that not necessarily the way he's able to control it, but the other way, like the way people are putting certain energies on his life, if that makes sense to you. Example, like let's say we look at the overall structure of the song. A lot of it has to do with people coming into his zone and people coming into his personal space, and giving him these negative energies when he's trying to stay level-headed and staying focused and concentrated. And that's a type of introspection that not only inspires me as a Kendrick fan, but shit that I'm able to manifest into my daily life, because it allows me to see greater purposes within life. And he's able to do this in a track that not only had great commercial success, but that I've heard at multiple parties, that I've heard at clubs. And that's another great thing about this track list as well as a whole, is like, whatever you go through, not only has it done commercially well and has it played in like millions of different clubs, but the meanings behind the songs are fucking ridiculous.
Yeah, because at surface level, Swimming Pools is just a song about getting drunk and having a good time with your friends, but deep down, it's actually a song about alcohol addiction, man, and kind of the dangers of that, and kind of where that could lead someone. So there's always deep messages within Kendrick's biggest bangers, even a song like Humble, for example. But going back to Good Kid, M.A.A.d City, one more standout that I want to talk about is actually The Art of Peer Pressure.
Beautiful track.
And this is one of the best storytelling cuts that I've ever heard personally on any hip hop song. And he literally starts off, the song by saying like, sit down and listen to this story told to you by Kendrick Lamar. And then we get this piano kind of jazzy beat. And then we get, Kendrick kind of talking about him being in the car with his friends, being in that white Toyota. And the imagery that he sets up, he's talking about them bumping Jeezy's album. And he literally puts you on the scene. You feel like you're there with them. And when he's describing the home invasion, you feel like, you're there with Kendrick and his friends. And that, like, you're the one also contemplating, should I do this? Should I not? And then Kendrick, gets a phone call, from his mom on the song too. And, he's like, if this was any other night, I would have been caught. But we made a left, we made a right. We got lucky and we kind of made it out.
Beautiful. It is
Amazing
a beautiful
song.
track, and the way that he takes you from the start to finish is crazy. So the whole act of actually going into the house and then someone finding out that there's actually someone in the room, and then after that, them hopping in the car, and as you said, take a left, take a right, and then them going through the neighborhood, and one lucky night with the homies, and then boom, it ends all there, and then they're like, I got a pack of woods, let's start freestyling at the end of the night. Like, it was just so iconic for what it did for that album, and The Art of Peer Pressure is probably one of my favorite Kendrick Lamar songs. And if the next song we're going to talk about wasn't on this album, this would probably be my favorite song out of the whole track list.
100%. And a couple other standouts, of course, are Money Trees and m.A.A.d City. But let's get down to the best song on the album. And I'm pretty sure you're probably going to have the same one as me. And I'm sure a lot of people watching this video are probably going to share this song as their favorite and what probably is the best song off of Good Kid, m.A.A.d City. And that's the 12-minute epic that is Sing About Me, I'm Dying of Thirst. And, we have two parts to this song. And the way that Kendrick taps into other people's perspectives is genius, because Kendrick sets up a universe in his discography. And, if you look at Swimming Pools, the extended version, it ends with, Kendrick's friend Dave getting killed and him pretty much dying out from bleeding out in Kendrick's arms after they go and visit the guys that, that robbed Kendrick on the song Shireen, the intro track. And this first perspective is being told by Dave's brother, who is saying how, the gang lifestyle is a part of who he is, and how if he does pass away because of it, he wants to be immortalized. He wants Kendrick to sing about him. And unfortunately, this friend of Kendrick's did pass away before the album came out.
It's a very, very, very heavy song.
It's heavy, yeah.
And not only that, but you also figure out how this actually goes into Keisha's song as well, like, and how that ties in all together, because throughout the first perspective, and this was throughout the first, I believe it's throughout the first or second verse. Don't quote me on it.
The second verse is where we hear Keisha's sister.
Is where we hear Keisha's sister, and then after that they call it Section 80, and you kind of hear like the resentment coming out, like, why did you mention my sister on a track before? Why did you have to put her on there? Like, she didn't deserve that. Like, she didn't have to go through all of that. And then you get the beat switch. And by the way, this song was actually produced by like a multitude of different producers, and it actually took a year or so to be able to form this track, because apparently he had a lot of different ideas for the track, and it came like, there was a lot of different ideas that were sparked, and he wanted to find the perfect way to put this. And if you go out through the whole track, you need the 12 minutes to let this bleed, because the amount of intricate storytelling that this song possesses is absolutely incredible. And the second part is mostly about Kendrick reflecting on, not necessarily the whole event that transpired within the song, but maybe even the whole album. Like, I feel as if the second part about Sing About Me, I'm Dying of Thirst is literally Kendrick, thinking about how it feels to be a trapped soul in a bad, evil environment, and talking about the types of, energies that could have an effect on your life. So it was really, really, really deep and intricate for me.
To me, the whole part two is about, how Kendrick and his friends were literally dying of thirst, in kind of the sense of how they were lacking that holy water. They were lacking that guidance. And Kendrick, is essentially on this song is saying how he feels like these stories need to be told for, certain kids that are being brought up in these environments to see, where it leads you and how fucking disruptive it is. And, this is Kendrick saying how when you grow up in a city like Compton, it becomes a cycle. There's a cycle of poverty. There's a cycle of prostitution, of gangbanging, and all this sort of shit. And I feel like these two events, the whole prostitution story, the whole Keisha song story where she's brutally raped and murdered, that, along with him witnessing his friend bleeding out in his arms, those events really made him realize that there's a higher power out there, and that's who, he should be kind of I would say, go towards. That higher power is what he should aim to reach. And what's beautiful too is that at the end of this song, we hear the prayer, the same prayer that this album starts off with. So the way that Kendrick is able to tie things together and make this album so cohesive, it's fucking beautiful to me.
It is beautiful, and it's the one song that definitely does tie in the whole track list. And another thing that I was reading online, and this was a great perspective, is that the whole song is actually about, being able to live with that thirst of lust, and the whole concept about singing about me, I'm dying of thirst. And I mean, you guys can go check this out on Genius because it's cool, and it kind of like it takes you step by step throughout the whole second part of it. Is like Kendrick is kind of trying to tell you, like, obviously there's going to be the thirst for hunger, and there's going to be the thirst for lust and envy and everything that comes in with your environment, but you have to stay away from it, and you have to sort of be in your own zone and understand who you want to be as a person. And that's something that resonates with me throughout every single Kendrick project is understand the high power, and then that's how you'll get to your full potential. And that's something that I've been manifesting in my life, and that Kendrick's music has been helping me to achieve. And I find it beautiful because there's no artist that's able to really do that for me. And this is something that a lot of people don't necessarily recognize within Kendrick's music, and it kind of upsets me because a lot of people obviously know him for the intricate writing or the crazy flows and the rhyme schemes and all this type of stuff. But if you listen to Kendrick Lamar on a very deep level, you'll start to understand what type of artist he is. It's unlimited.
I feel like that's the only way that you could really listen to Kendrick, is because you literally have to dissect all of his albums, and he's one of those artists that you can listen to their projects a million times and get something new out of them each and every single time. I mean, when I first bumped this album, I was 12 years old. I was in fucking, my first year of high school, and I just liked the music for the crazy bars and kind of the rhyme schemes, but I never really went into the actual deep narrative. And with every listen, even when I listen to it now, because this is one of my most replayable albums, I literally pick up on something new, and it just speaks to how layered every single Kendrick Lamar album is.
And I feel as if I grow with the album. Like, I feel as if I've been growing up with this piece of art, like every single year. And as you said, like, every single moment I listen to this, something new to pick up, something that you could resonate with and that you could carry into your daily routine. And that's what I love about Kendrick's music, is that, yes, obviously it's catchy. Yes, obviously, like, his production is A1. Yes, he's obviously one of the most skilled rappers of all time, in my opinion. But when it comes down to the message, that is where you will find your value in Kendrick Lamar's music, is taking it and what resonates with you. Thank you guys for watching the whole video. Hit that subscribe button to join the family. We're doing weekly reviews. We're giving you guys all the updates in the industry. Plus, we have our series called What to Expect, where we actually take you through the album before it drops. Plus, if you guys want to chat with us, you guys could join our Discord server. The link is in the bio. You guys could talk hip hop with us there. Thank you guys for watching again. And guys, I'll see you on the next one.